Konnichiwa. If you guys have already seen parts 1 and 2, then you know the drill. If you want to jump straight into the rankings, you could skip ahead to the timestamp on screen. But for those of you who are new here, let me explain what's happening. Aqua Teen Hunger Force isn't just one of my all-time favorite shows, but it was also my first real taste of the world of Adult Swim. And I'm sure it was the gateway for a lot of you too. This phenomenal mind-bending series has run for over 2 decades, boasting 12 seasons, 2 movies, and hundreds of truly insane characters. Welcome to part 3 of my ongoing series where I rank pretty much every single Aqua Teen character. Let's quickly go over the rules. The categories for this tier list are S, A, B, C, and D. Originally, when I started this series, I wasn't planning to rank minor characters, but I've recently decided to loosen that rule a little bit from here on out. Off-screen characters and some really minor characters still won't be included, and I will group duos, trios, and other character teams together instead of ranking them separately. My ranking is based on 3 things: character design, personality, and their impact on the plot. And just a quick disclaimer, this ranking is completely subjective. You might agree or disagree with where I place some characters, and that's totally cool. All I ask is that you guys keep it respectful in the comments, and hey, if you feel like it, drop your own ranking down in the comments below. But with that said, let's aim for 50 likes, and with that out of the way, let's get started. BillyWitchDoctor.com.
BillyWitchDoctor.com work mostly in chicken.
BillyWitchDoctor.com is, as his name suggests, a witch doctor who Frylock summons to bring Shake back from the dead in the Aqua Teen episode Video Ouija. Visually, Billy stands at around maybe 6 feet tall, I think. He also sports a striking appearance, like he's half naked, he wears a really cool mask, and he wields a wooden staff topped with a chicken's head. Despite Frylock's decent expectations, BillyWitchDoctor.com has actually never resurrected a person before. He specializes in chickens, and to top it off, is only an intern. After a few mediocre attempts to revive Shake, Frylock loses patience and ultimately blows Billy up before Ultra Mega Chicken dramatically crashes down from the sky. But we'll talk about that in the next entry. Honestly, I believe that Billy is pretty underrated, but because he doesn't make any more major appearances after Video Ouija, I'm gonna place him in C tier right behind Travis. I think his character's funny, I think his design is really good, and yeah, he's just an underrated character that I kind of wish made a couple of other major appearances. Ultra Mega Chicken.
Where the hell is that? I think that's Ultra Mega Chicken.
Speaking of Video Ouija, Ultra Mega Chicken appears right at the very end of the episode. He's a large, demonic chicken with jet engines attached to his backside and lands right on top of Carl, killing him instantly. The design of UMC is incredible, but it doesn't really serve a larger purpose, besides killing Carl. So for that reason, I'm placing him above the brownie monsters in tier D. Uncle Cliff.
Hey, Cliff. Boo.
Uncle Cliff is Ignignok's uncle, who's been dealing with some mental troubles since the Lunar War. He makes his first and only appearance in the episode Remooned, where Ignignok and harass him and steal his massive bill from the government, which they believed was a check. Cliff's story ends when a giant rock falls on top of him and we never see him again. Design-wise, he's the first new Moonanite character introduced since the original Moonanites, which I think is really neat. He's blue and he doesn't really say a whole lot. In fact, he mostly just screams and gets startled easily. Poor guy. Cliff is really cool in my opinion. You know, despite him only appearing in this one episode, I feel like he was extremely underutilized, and I also just really enjoy his design. So I'm going to be nice and place him in the A tier right behind Boxy Brown. Justice for Uncle Cliff. Bring him back. Well, okay. Tell Warner Bros. Discovery to renew the series for another 40 seasons and 7 more movies, and then tell them to bring back Uncle Cliff. Ted Nugent.
Hey, how you guys doing? Anybody without a gun and a knife and a handkerchief and a chapstick, get the out of here.
Ted Nugent, musician and political activist, makes a quick appearance towards the end of the episode Gee Whiz. New Jersey is currently in a frenzy over a billboard of a rifle that features a hidden face at the butt end of Jesus, or excuse me, Gee Whiz, which turns out to be Nugent's. He later shows up to shoot Carl with a flaming compound bow, mistaking him for a varmint. Now, in my opinion, Ted Nugent is kinda nuts, appearance. Like, I'm sure he's an okay guy sometimes, but he does say a lot of wild things from at least what I've noticed. But that being said, I enjoy when real-world people play exaggerated versions of themselves in shows, although this version of Ted might not be too far from reality. So I don't know, I'm gonna place him in tier C right behind the Wisdom Cube. While he only shows up for this particular episode, he sports a really cool design, and his unexpected appearance really adds to the humor. The Vampire.
Little burrito.
No way.
Do I know you?
Oh my gosh, I so love your ankle.
So there is a vampire featured in the episode A Little Brittle who turns MCP Pants from a dying old person into an immortal bloodsucker. Oh wait, I forgot vampires don't enjoy the sun. So not exactly immortal, but you guys know what I mean. This vampire flies into the hospital room, emerges from a coffin, and immediately gets to work gnawing on the neck of MCP Pants before also facing the same fate as the rapper. God, the sun is a deadly laser. Design-wise, he's your standard classic vampire with the Dracula flow drip. I think because he lacks personality and a huge purpose besides turning MCP Pants into a vampire, I'm going to throw the vampire in tier D behind the woman. Now, quick disclaimer, there are a lot of minor characters featured in today's video because for some unknown reason, Season 3 of Aqua Teen is just packed with tons of random characters, a lot of random side characters. So there is a good chance that a lot of characters in this particular part will be placed in the D tier. But it's not because I hate these characters or anything. I know I meme a lot when it comes to certain characters like the Wisdom Cube and stuff, but I genuinely enjoy every single Aqua Teen character, even the ones in D tier, except for this guy, which I keep bringing up in every video, and I cannot wait to talk about him. Robositter and Sheila.
Come on, Sheila, let's blow.
Sheila?
I built her. She's my friend.
Robositter, voiced by Sarah Silverman, is a babysitting robot designed by Frylock to babysit Meatwad so that he and Shake could work at the Slurp-a-Lunch, aka a vegan's worst nightmare. In the episode Robositter, Carl tried to watch Meatwad, but he's not exactly the best influence.
Did some good jollies, man.
Meanwhile, put those down. No.
Robositter and her robot friend Sheila, who was created by Robositter, only appear in this particular episode, which kinda sucks because I genuinely like these characters a lot. Robositter acts pretty reasonable and responsible, promising to take great care of Meatwad until Frylock isn't present, to which she then turns into a nasty, evil teenager, basically the stereotypical bad babysitter, but like way more insane. Like way more insane. To the point that she throws Meatwad out of the living room window and chases him down the road with her spinning blade hands before ditching him to hang at the mall and to also antagonize Frylock. However, just like with the trees and BillyWitchDoctor.com, Frylock loses his patience and throws the two robots into the meat juicer at the Slurp-a-Lunch. In regards to appearance, Robositter is made out of a water heater, cans, dryer vent hoses, and Sheila is made out of a radio, a trash can, and some other junk. I am a big fan of the episode Robositter. It's one of my personal favorites, and one reason why I enjoy it so much is because Robositter is such a psychotic and also an extremely entertaining character. A two-faced robot. I believe Robositter and by extension Sheila belong in B tier right in front of Major Shake. Gorgatron.
You are a fatty.
He said no, with his foot.
Gorgatron, who first appears in the episode Moonmaster, is another new Moonanite character. Man, Season 3 of Aqua Teen really spoiled us. Anyways, he's a giant Moonanite with massive feet, a single tooth, and I think he's got like horns on his head or something. He first appears in Meatwad's video game Moonmaster, then again at the very end of the episode when Ignignok and attempt to sell Moonmaster merchandise to him. So not exactly a ton of screen time for him. Design-wise, he's also pretty cool, but compared to like Uncle Cliff, and this is a huge stretch because I understand that Uncle Cliff doesn't have a whole lot going on either, but when comparing the two, I don't believe the Gorgatron has a ton of personality beyond being ferocious. He doesn't do a whole lot. So because of this, I'm putting him below Ultra Mega Chicken in tier D. South Bronx Parasite.
In your face, fella, I got wings.
The South Bronx Parasite is a large creature that explodes from Carl's body after he consumes nothing but South Bronx Parasite diet bars to lose weight in the episode Diet. The Parasite only appears at the very end of the episode, so there isn't a whole lot to learn about his character. I mean, he's tall, orange, and has like a childlike voice. Though he makes Carl act out before finally emerging, he doesn't do much once he's out in the open. With limited lines and screen time, and not exactly like the craziest design in the world, at least from my perspective, I'm placing him in the D tier right behind George Washington. Delivery Alien.
Leave the pie.
Hang on, I gotta call my man.
The pizza delivery alien is a character who makes a brief appearance in the Space Kataz Cold opening of the episode Dusty Gonzagas, delivering a huge order of pizzas to the Moonanites. Physically, he is a unique alien with what I could only describe is like an Elvis-esque outfit. At least I get Elvis vibes whenever I look at this outfit. He's tall and green, and he sports a unibrow as well. He doesn't say a whole lot, and is never seen again after this cold opening. Oh, he also loses an arm. I don't know, this character doesn't really have a whole lot going on, so I'm gonna drop him into the D tier just below the woman. Dusty Gonzagas.
Who are you guys?
Dusty, and I cannot stress this enough, Gonzagas, is a city worker and, to some extent, an exotic dancer. She's a bit of a ditz and appears in the episode Dusty Gonzagas to handle a dug-up pipe main, presumably messed with by Shake. Meanwhile, Shake and Carl are practically bending over backward to win her over, although let's be real here. These two don't have a chance in hell with anyone. But before long, Dusty is abducted by alien wrenches and is tricked into performing for them. Design-wise, she's rocking a cut-off work shirt, booty shorts, a tool belt with cash, a tribal tattoo, messy blonde hair, stockings, and red high heels that I have to admit I kinda love. She only appears in this one episode, and while I don't necessarily connect with her a whole lot, she's one of the more talkative characters of the series, so I'm going to place her in the D tier below Wayne. Andre.
Hey, can I have one of those strawberries?
No! Get out of here!
Andre is another city worker who makes a very brief appearance in Dusty Gonzagas. He walks into Frylock's room to let Shake know that the power's back on, after Shake decided to slice through the power lines with a chainsaw. I don't remember seeing Andre again after this episode, although I could totally be wrong. Regardless, he's got a smooth, very chill vibe to him, and I don't know, I would totally give him a strawberry if he asked. I don't know, Andre seems like the type of character that I would put in the D tier, but because I really enjoy his vibe, I'm gonna put him at the bottom of C tier. The Wrenches.
This pole is malfunctioning.
The Wrenches are an alien group introduced at the very end of Dusty Gonzagas when they abduct Dusty and make her dance for thousands of other wrenches. I believe they make only one other appearance, specifically in the Zombie Ninja Pro Am PS2 game. Design-wise, they're tall, red, wrench-shaped aliens, and I'm very much into their look, but compared to the many other alien races featured in the series, they don't exactly get me bricked up or anything like that. Maybe if they'd return as a more significant threat to the Aqua teens, I'd care a bit more, but because they don't do a whole lot, I'm gonna place them in D tier above Balloonenstein. Santa!
It's a big ol' happy Easter. Okay.
Santa Claus, the man, the myth, the legend. He technically first appears in Mail Order Bride for a split second in Season 1, but his first real speaking role is in the episode T-Shirt of the Living Dead. In the middle of July, Meatwad summons him using Osiris's magical shirt to get some Christmas presents, only to be told that the elves don't clock in until September, so he's pretty much empty-handed. But things take a drastic turn when Santa gets horrifically disfigured by Eggzilla, but his elves saves the day by patching him up with soccer ball leather. He also reappears in the series finale, The Last One Forever and Ever for real this time, and he's also mentioned throughout the series as well. Design-wise, he's your classic Santa Claus, but it's his personality that truly shines. He's got like a bad boy edge to him, which I don't really like that I said that, but it's true, he's got like a little bit of an edge to him. Not tolerating any nonsense, even for a talking meatball. I just love how he gets angry. I'm gonna place him in B tier behind the trees, for that refreshing no-nonsense attitude. The Easter Bunny.
I'm the Easter Bunny. I'm the Easter Bunny's twin brother, Daryl.
The Easter Bunny and his twin brother Daryl also appear in T-Shirt of the Living Dead, summoned by the magical T-Shirt. One of them ends up losing their face to Frylock after suggesting that he give Santa a chocolate Easter bunny, whatever that may be. Design-wise, they're both classic bunnies, they look alike, and although there's not much going on upstairs, they're still pretty funny. Plus, they're voiced by Andy Merrill, which is a very nice touch in my opinion. I know it makes like zero sense to place these bunnies higher up on the tier when compared to other extremely minor characters, but they make me laugh, so I'm placing the Easter Bunny and, by extension, his twin brother in C tier just above Carl's dad. They're funny, they're really funny. Eggzilla.
Hey, make sure the house is completely crushed if you could.
Next, we have Eggzilla and his girl from the same T-shirt of the Living Dead episode. Like the Easter Bunny, Eggzilla is one of the most minor characters of the series. He and his girlfriend are summoned by Meatwad, and the two spend most of their time dancing on the remains of Carl's house. Eggzilla is also the one responsible for disfiguring Santa with his fire breath. They're just giant eggs with reptilian limbs, clearly head over heels for each other, which is adorable. But since they don't do much or speak, and they don't exactly fill me with joy, I'm placing them in D tier, right under Nathan Scott Phillips. Hypnogerms.
Hold on, honey.
Hypnogerms from the episode of the same name are mind-controlling bacteria that take over Shake's body after he used a public gas station bathroom without covering the toilet bowl. These germs make Shake do some crazy and pretty life-threatening tasks. They also enjoy Broadway plays after drinking on the weekends, which is just disgusting. God. The germs don't really show up much in this episode besides like 1 or 2 scenes, although Eric Wareheim does make a cameo as the Germ King, which is really cool. But if I'm gonna be honest, lumping all of the germs together, I think they would best be suited in D tier, in front of Nathan Scott Phillips. I don't know what it is. It could be design-wise, it could be just the lack of attention in the episode Hypnogerms, but these germs just don't really do it for me. And I'm gonna be honest, Hypnogerms isn't exactly my favorite episode of the series. It's not terrible by any means, it's still very much entertaining, but a lot of the characters that show up in this episode, I just don't really cling to as much. Filing cabinet.
Oh, about smear yourself with garbage and try to cross the freeway?
We just celebrated our eat your own dung.
The filing cabinets, there's a lot of them, are figments of Shake's imagination after the hypnogerms from the episode of the same name infiltrate his body after he uses that gas station toilet. The filing cabinet first appears alongside the wall and basketball before Shake teleports to a stage, entertaining an audience of filing cabinets and also files. Design-wise, it's a filing cabinet, you know, nothing too crazy. However, they do appear throughout the episode more than other characters, so for that, I'm going to be nice and place the filing cabinet towards the top of D tier, I would say above Romulux. The wall and basketball.
The basketball and chain, brother. Come on.
I know!
That's what freed the fish, man.
Yeah, I'm the basketball.
I'm lumping these two very minor characters together because they both appear in the same scene in the episode Hypnogerm for about the same amount of time and are pretty much equal in my opinion. Much like the filing cabinets, these two are also figments of Shake's imagination due to the Hypnogerms and don't really exist. Their only purpose is to basically bullshit Shake, and that's really it. Although I do like Tim Heidecker's little voice cameo as the basketball. These two characters don't really do a whole lot, so I'm gonna throw them in the D tier above Nathan Scott Phillips. Tulip Sniper.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Tulip Sniper!
Thank you very much.
Tulip Sniper, a gun-wielding sentient tulip, is another figment of Shake's imagination in the Hypnogerms episode. He only appears for a few seconds and never emerges again, so immediately, personality-wise, he lacks it. Design-wise, though, he's pretty badass. I mean, have you ever seen a flower holding a gun? No, you probably haven't. Although I am going to deduct points for Tulip Sniper holding what appears to be a submachine gun. Like, is that a Tommy gun? I can tell you what, that's not a sniper. With that being said, designs can't really save characters who lack any depth, so I'm gonna throw Tulip Sniper right behind the brownie monsters in the D category. Mexican jumping beans.
I'm not the best guy in the world, you know. I'm not right for you.
Next up, we have the Mexican jumping beans that Frylock injects into Shake's brain to counteract the Hypnogerm's reign in the same episode. One of the jumping beans, Poncho, who appears in the Hypnogerm play, is voiced by Fred Armisen, which is pretty neat in my opinion. And what's also really crazy is Bob Odenkirk also voiced the Bean Wizard. Man, this is insane. Like, Hypnogerm, I know I just said Hypnogerm isn't exactly my favorite episode, but one of the aspects that I find really neat about it is that it's just loaded with tons of guest stars. Anyways, the Mexican jumping beans eventually wipe out the germs and cause Shake to fart out of his eye holes. If you ask me, the beans would probably be best suited in the D category above the woman. Compared to the brownie monsters and Balloonenstein, the design of the beans aren't exactly great, but they somewhat have more going on than Nathan Scott Phillips and the woman. Matt Malero.
It's $7.92.
Okay, here's $8 and keep it.
All of it? I don't know if the bank will take all this.
Series co-creator Matt Malero makes a very quick cameo as a Chinese delivery man in the episode Carl, which is also known as Spacegate World. Like Jay Edwards and Ned Hastings, Matt's appearance is very brief. He's on screen for a few seconds, delivers a couple of lines, and then just completely dips. Design-wise, it's definitely Matt. I mean, you can easily tell just by his look and voice as well. Now, in real life, I can't say I know him personally, but I have had a few interactions with him on Twitter and YouTube, and he's awesome. He's very funny and incredibly supportive of the Aqua Teen and 12-Ounce Mouse content I've made on this channel. Now, his character in this episode here lacks depth, which, like Jay and Ned's characters, isn't really his fault. It's just kind of how these cameos were written into the episode. But because I like Matt so much, I'm placing him in the C tier right next to Ned. If I had the chance to rank every single person who played a role in creating one of the greatest television series in history, I mean, they would all just be an S tier for sure. Also, after some heavy consideration, I have decided to move Jay into the C category next to these guys as well, even though Jay in the Aqua Teen universe likes to discriminate against food people. I just think it's better if I lump all of these creator cameos into one area. And you know what? I think throughout the rest of the ranking series, you're going to see me adjust the placements of characters and stuff. Rudy.
Oh, no, wait, no, it's me! Whatever, go ahead!
Rudy is a robot created by Frylock to guard the house while the Aqua Teens are in Panama City in the episode Carl. He ends up catching Carl doing some pretty freaky stuff with a couch cushion on Shake's recliner, then immediately flies down to Panama City to warn Frylock about it. There, he ends up shooting and killing Stacy, the girl Frylock was talking to. The episode wraps up with Rudy also killing Jake and Carl after they've been skinned by the Amazing Mongrel. Rudy's design is pretty simple. He's a gray robot with a light bulb on his head, which is kind of ironic because he's not exactly the brightest, and he has a minigun built into his chest. Rudy tends to overreact without assessing situations, which is kind of bad, but in my opinion, I kind of really like that aspect of him. To be honest, I think I'm just a huge fan of like the robot characters in this series because they're so like backwards and unpredictable. I think Rudy deserves a spot in C tier right in front of Randy. And like I said, all of these positions could totally change as the series progresses. The Amazing Mongrel.
The Amazing Mongrel, ladies and gentlemen. The Mongrel.
The Amazing Mongrel is a monstrous creature with various appendages who makes a brief appearance in the episode Carl. He's the one responsible for reaching through the Spacegate teleporter and skinning both Carl and Shake. Design-wise, he's pretty badass. I mean, he's a freaky-looking monster with mismatched body parts who rides a skeleton unicycle, which again is pretty badass. But that's about it. He only shows up this one scene and then disappears, and doesn't even have any speaking lines. So since he doesn't have much to offer beyond the cool design, I think I'm gonna have to place him at the very bottom of D tier. Amber and Stacy.
Let me get them digits, you know?
Wrapping up this episode's rankings, we have Amber and Stacy, the two women who get caught up with the Aqua Teens in Panama City in the episode Carl. Shake ends up scaring off Amber by calling her fat after watching her devour a plate of wings, which is pretty fucked up in my opinion. Like public service announcement, don't call people fat, that's just mean. While Stacy, who's wrapped up in casts, like she's just been through a bad accident, ends up meeting a very fiery fate when Rudy flies in and blows her up. Design-wise, I really appreciate the little details, like Stacy's unshaven legs because she's in casts and isn't exactly as mobile as she once was, and Amber covered in hot sauce from all of the wings, which, you know what, eating all of those wings, that takes a lot of talent. But despite the nice touches, the lack of character depth lands them both in D tier, right behind the woman. Well, we did it. Those are all of the characters from Season 3 of Aqua Teen that I wanted to rank. If you guys haven't checked out parts 1 and 2 of my Ranking Every Aqua Teen Character series, I'll leave some links in the bio below, if I remember. If you guys enjoyed this video and want part 4, sooner rather than later, drop a like. Maybe we can aim for 50 likes. And hey, if you want to share your ranking in the comments below, go for it. Like I said towards the beginning of the video, my ranking is completely subjective. Not everyone will agree with my placement of characters, so again, feel free to share yours in the comments. Anyways, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Click the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload a brand new video. Follow me on all of my social links, that being Instagram and Twitter, and Blue Sky if you guys want to check me out on there. And join my Discord server. Links are in the bio below. Have a fantastic day, everyone. But remember to cover the toilet seat whenever you use a public restroom.